Good morning, folks. Happy Friday. Thank you very much for joining us this Friday. I'm sure there were other things we could be doing at 10 o'clock on a Friday morning, but we definitely appreciate your time this morning. My name is James Farias. I am the CEO of Empowering America, and this is the fourth week in a 4-week series on AI, essentially, and how we could use AI in our day-to-day life, whether it be as an agent or just in day-to-day in general. Specifically, for the last couple of weeks, we have introduced AI and large language models such as ChatGPT or Claude or Bard. We have looked into understanding the capabilities of these different large language models and how they can be put to use. We've talked about how agents or individuals or businesses could potentially design chatbots or a chatbot and leverage these large language models to assist in client communications. And all of those previous week's videos are available on our Empowering America YouTube channel, which is linked at the bottom. And we will be emailing to everybody in attendance today at the end of this webinar as well. Now, this week being the fourth week, we're actually going to be talking a little more specifically about how AI can be used in marketing and email development specifically. We've kind of talked in generalities. We've done a couple of really cool live exercises and showed some different things. But today we're going to talk specifically about email marketing and email development and how we can use these tools to assist in that. We're going to go through an introduction to AI-powered marketing techniques. We're going to talk about how you can leverage AI for data analysis and customer segmentation, which of course is what allows you to develop personalized emails and marketing campaigns, etc. Understanding your demographics and understanding your market. We're going to talk about some of the ethical considerations when it comes to using AI or an AI-driven marketing practices. And as always, we will have a Q&A at the end to see if anybody has any questions. But before we get started, does anybody have any questions yet so far? Anything that they've experienced in their attempt to deploy AI or anything that we've talked about in the previous couple of weeks? Oh, all right. We're done. Thanks, folks. I'm not sure what happened there. Just a moment. Okay, let's try this again.
We're downloading the information via Neuralink now.
That's right. I've now sent it out via Neuralink to everybody. The folks that should have it momentarily. Okay. So first up, we're going to be talking about using AI in email marketing. AI has a lot of really powerful abilities. It's very, very useful. It can be used to collect customer data like demographics, purchase history, website behavior. Anybody who does any kind of website marketing or anything like that, Google Analytics is already deploying this stuff within their services. So AI is going to be used to be able to segment and break up segments very efficiently, far more efficiently than doing anything we've been using so far. We're going to be able to use AI tools to identify patterns and segment our audience into different groups, which is going to be key into developing personalized content and messaging. We're going to be able to create customized customer profiles to understand their preferences and interests. And all of that is going to allow us to generate personalized content. We're going to be able to feed customer data into AI copywriting tools to produce tailored messages to each subscriber. Right now, our team is using ChatGPT and Claude. A lot of the email stuff we do, we'll take emails and put them into these services and have it help us generate the responses, as opposed to us having to handwrite these responses. So using ChatGPT or Claude to assist in writing some of these responses has been a huge boost. There are tools out there like Jasper or Phrasey, which can help you generate content with the right tone and messaging. ChatGPT and Claude as tools themselves can, of course, be used. That is primarily what we use. But they are plenty powerful. If you know how to tell ChatGPT to write in a specific tone, it can and will do that. But if you use tools like Jasper or Phrasey, they are designed specifically to write content. So there are like levers and options to write in specific tones and styles where you're not forced to have to come up with those things on your own. So a lot of these tools can be really instrumental in helping you break out of your own kind of creative lockbox, if you will, and think outside that box. It'll allow you to adjust messaging and offers based on interest and behavior. And it can start with things as simple as optimizing subject lines. There's a lot of research that goes into talking about how important subject lines are, how a lot of like spam filters and things of that nature are using the subject lines themselves to eliminate emails from hitting people's inboxes. And AI is going to allow us to customize these subject lines to be more personalized and thus have less of an appearance of being spammy and less of propensity to get caught by some of these detectors. And at the end of the day, just be more prevalent and personal to the business owner themselves or the person we're trying to contact. Using these kinds of tools to generate subject lines and emails will allow us to more efficiently do things like split testing or A/B testing, as they call it, where you might send a group of emails to the same people, 2 different groups of emails with 2 different subjects, maybe even 2 different bodies at 2 different times to communicate the same topic, and then be able to measure the different results. You'll be able to see how one subject line maybe gets opened more than another subject line. And instead of you having to come up with these subject lines, you can feed like a single subject line into a tool like Jasper or Phrasey or ChatGPT and ask it to give you 4, 5, 10 versions of the same subject line without you having to go expend your own mental power to generate these different subject lines. While it's not impossible, I don't know how many people have sat down and tried to do any. I'm not a creative writer, so for me personally to sit down and try to write multiple versions of the same thing, it's about all I can get through to write a single version of the same thing. So having access to these tools to rewrite, to help you like get your thoughts out in a cohesive manner is very powerful. These tools can help us automate workflows. They can help us with drafting templates for content. They can help with marketing automation and things of that nature. The key is being able to combine all of these different customer data and AI text generation and optimization into tools to craft targeted messages that actually resonate with your clients. Now, as part of that, like being able to craft the subject lines, being able to craft the email bodies, being able to craft a marketing script, things of that nature, that is just one small piece of what AI can do. I mean, it is a powerful piece. Being able to send the right message to the right person at the right time, obviously, is key. However, understanding the right person and right time part is also very difficult very often. Like understanding your clients or your buyers' patterns, behaviors, needs, desires, things of that nature can be very difficult. And the more clients you have, sometimes the more difficult it can be. So using AI to help analyze customer data and segment your audience can be very powerful. Being able to pull data from like a CRM or an email service provider or an e-commerce platform like say HubSpot or Shopify, being able to generate surveys and analyze surveys and other sources so you can get a true 360-degree view of like what your customers look like. Being able to generate relevant info, including demographics, psychographics, purchase history, email engagement, website behavior, things of that nature. We will have so much more data at our fingertips as these kinds of tools are deployed, and they're going to be deployed everywhere. Like we're going to start seeing this in our like Gmail inbox. We'll start seeing these things in Outlook. We will start seeing these things in not just in third-party services that we have to pay for. We'll start seeing these things everywhere in the stuff that we're using right now. So getting comfortable with using it, like opening up a Chat GPT account if you haven't already done it, opening up a Bard account if you haven't already done it, opening up a Claude account if you haven't already done it, getting used to how these things work. Those services are all virtually free. There are some paid add-ons that you can do to upgrade if you want, but aside from that, those services are all free. And it's so important that you stay on top of this because these different little services will be rolled out into the services we're already using. If you're using a CRM, this stuff will be in there. If you're using any kind of like a project management software, if you're using Monday or Zoho or anything like that, like everybody is rushing to figure out how to get AI into their different platforms to make their data more useful. Because at the end of the day, data is what makes things go round, right? Understanding your data, being able to analyze your data, and then being able to act on that data is so key. And with AI, we, the individual users, will now have access to this kind of information at our fingertips, that kind of access to information that most companies pay a lot of money to get access to. We'll be able to feed the aggregated data into AI-powered analytics platforms or tools, things like iterable or sail through, or even Google Analytics, like I was mentioning earlier, that can help us detect like patterns and clusters in the data. Those algorithms will allow for segmentation. They'll allow AI to automatically divide the audience into different segments based on parameters like demographics, purchase history, interests, location, email engagement. I mean, depending on who you work with, if you work with teachers, it'll be able to segregate teachers by what they teach, by the age they teach. I mean, you name it. You'll be able to get whatever data you're looking for. Having access to this kind of data is going to allow you to build customized subscriber profiles. You'll be able to create detailed profiles for every subscriber, highlighting their preferences, their behaviors, their tendencies. You'll be able to use this information to customize your messaging, things of that nature. It'll allow you to continuously refine your segments as your business grows, as your market share grows, as your client base grows, so too will your segmentation. You'll be able to monitor how those segments interact with your emails. You'll be able to run and rerun the analytics and regularly update your segments based on your latest subscriber data. And this stuff is like real time. As it happens, it's adjusting. It's not like the old days of needing to run the data, run a spreadsheet, do an analysis of the spreadsheet, wait a period of time, run the data, print a spreadsheet, and now analyze the spreadsheet. This stuff is real time as it's happening. And the key is being able to leverage AI's ability to process large volumes of data to be able to uncover who your subscribers really are and then be able to group them accordingly. Having access to this type of information truly transforms the generalized email blast of the past into targeted campaigns that actually speak to your specific customer segment's needs. We're kind of talking about some of the couple of the tools that you could be using to help with some of this personalized content. Obviously, there's the Chat GPTs and the Claudes and the Bards and all that, but the other tools out there like Jasper is an excellent copywriting tool, as is copy.ai. They both were excellent copywriting tools even before AI, and AI has just really made them even that much more powerful. Phrasey is another one that's relatively new to the market, but another really powerful copy editor. So if you're looking for something that's a little more guided, that takes a little more of the thought process out of it, that kind of walks you through a little more of that, like helps you decide like what kind of content you're going to write. Are you writing an email? Are you writing a blog? What kind of voice are you writing it in? Do you want to target it to somebody who has no knowledge of your topic? Do you want to target somebody who has like college level knowledge of your target? Like, who are you trying to target? And then it will help you actually write that content. It's excellent because it helps you create dynamic blocks of content. You're in your email template. You can pull in data to personalize things for each subscriber, like their name, their interests, their past purchases, things of that nature. And it can help generate content and emails on the fly based on those things. A lot of these services are going to be connecting with your CRM if they're not already. HubSpot already has a whole AI add-on or whatever to their CRM. that's going to allow for marketing and assessment of data and things of that nature. And that's everybody's going to be doing this if they haven't already. Even as how many people here are, by show of hands or one in the chat, how many people are here have been following like the writer strike and the actor strike and all that? So you all know that there's this big strike going on in Hollywood, right? They all want more money, of course, which is understandable. You know, you look at the profits that these studios are making, depending on who you talk to, it's astronomical. One of the primary things that they are trying to do with this strike is to guide and guard against AI. Like they're trying to determine how is AI going to be leveraged with these writers. Because if I could sit here, like I could literally just sit here and say, I need a 3-minute TikTok script with this topic, including hooks, and it will write it for me. There's no difference in me saying I need a movie script with this topic and it will write it for me. So the actors and the writers, they have a lot of fear around AI getting deployed into the movie space, because if you can generate AI characters, you can generate AI scripts, and you can generate AI voices, what does that mean for like the human actors and things of that nature? And they do have reason to fear, for sure. I understand that fear. But that's just to say, like, AI is coming. Even the studio houses, you go look at like Netflix, go look at like Warner Brothers, they now have whole financing groups specifically to fund projects in AI in their space. So this is going to be everywhere. It's going to be in the movies. It's going to be in our emails. It's going to be in our CRMs. So we might as well just get ahead of it. Avoiding it is not going to help. It's coming. And it's just because it is so powerful. It gets to speak directly to your market based on your market's interests, desires, the time that they're wanting to talk about those things. And it lets the AI figure that out, as opposed to you needing to figure that out, as opposed to you needing to be the marketing expert, as opposed to you needing to be the data analytics expert. AI will do the majority of that for you, and then it will give you recommendations for you to change or modify how you move forward in the future. Using AI in this method or manner also allows you to ensure a consistent brand voice. You know, we as humans can be inconsistent depending on how our emotional state of being is, our perception is. If you tell the AI who you are, if you tell the AI what your mission statement is, if you tell your AI what your core values are, you give the AI samples of your writing and your products and things of that nature, the voice it creates will be consistent. It will always sound the same. It will always phrase things the same. It will make a much more consistent brand impact on your market, as opposed to it being kind of up and down or all over the place, or varying depending on the mood or the winds. The key is tapping into all the vast amounts of data that we have access to in order to be able to tailor our copy and our offers and make sure that the messaging delivers consistent on-brand experience. That's, at the end of the day, what helps AI make email feel very natural and on-brand and on-topic and specific for our customer segments. We were speaking earlier about one of the powerful things that AI can do is help you with subject line optimization. You know, we've tossed phrasing around a little bit today. There's another one specifically for emails called Subjectify. It allows you to quickly generate a variety of optimized subject lines and options based on content. It allows you to do some of that split testing. Again, if you're not wanting to pay for services, you can do this stuff right inside of some of these large language models by themselves. It allows you to send each version of a sample of subscribers and then track like what their open rates are, what their click-through rates are they responding to the offers you're sending, and then make decisions on future campaigns based on results. It allows you to examine the results to identify the highest performing subject lines and bodies for each segment and content type. And then as you move forward, it allows you to apply those learnings, you use those insights gleaned to better craft better subject lines in the future across more programs. So it allows you to just get smarter and better at what you're doing as you move forward and grow. Personalized subject lines with subscriber names or other details are often show a significant boost to open rates. I was just following somebody in the AI space, and their subject line is their name, hard vertical bar, and their phone number. Like that's basically what their subject line is pretty much every time they send something out. For the same thing we've talked about in the past here, which is the more personalized that subject line is, the less likely it's going to be caught by a spam filter, the more likely it's going to be opened. So if you could, if he's only using that one thing, eventually that's what that one thing is going to be stale and old. People are going to catch on to it. They're going to know it's him. And if they just want to ignore him, they're just going to ignore him. So while it might be, well, that one practice might stand out currently for a little while, being able to use AI to craft personalized subject lines and personalized messages clearly is going to have a far greater impact over time on your open rates, your click-through rates, and thereby your growth rates and success rates. Regardless of testing, you want to make sure that the subject lines are representative of the email content. That is key. You don't want there to be a difference between what you're saying and what you're delivering. That is another way you get caught by spam filters, of course. You want them to be consistent and on brand. You want to be able to leverage AI and test to be able to enable the optimization of email subject lines at scale. So you can maximize your open rates and your click-through rates, and thereby your success rates of each campaign. Now, one of the biggest things that we've been talking about the use of AI for is being able to automate things. I mean, it is really cool just when you're getting out the gate to be able to use it to just automate the writing of an email, even if it doesn't automate the sending of an email. I mean, when you're first starting out, just using these tools to automate the writing part is cool. But where you really start to see the compounding benefits of AI is when you can actually start automating workflows. And there's a lot of different ways you can do that. You can use AI assistants or AI drafting assistants. There are tools like Zapier. Zapier can connect to your email. It can connect to like Google Forms. It can take responses from one and then tell it to deliver an email from the other. You can have a web form. You can literally create a web form asking questions, and based on the responses to those questions, it can feed the responses into a spreadsheet that then feeds the responses into an email that generates an email and sends it to your client without you ever having to talk to the client at all. So one example of that would be I could create a web form. We use diet and fitness since it's one of my hobbies. I could create a web form for somebody who wanted to create a diet plan for themselves and ask them like what they currently eat, you know, how much they weigh, how old they are, what their goal is, how much weight they want to weigh at the end of this, or how much the weight they want to lose. And based on their responses, feed the responses into a spreadsheet. The spreadsheet would feed the responses into one of these like ChatGPT. ChatGPT would generate an meal plan for the person and send that email plan out to them, and I would never even have to touch it once I set all that automation up. And I've played with some of that stuff. Probably take maybe half an hour to set it up. Like once you understand the way these things work. So being able to create like automations like that, especially around, you know, if you're somebody who offers multiple products to somebody or multiple services to somebody, having somebody be able to fill out a web form and then generate an interest email back to them. It can also drop a message to you in like a Slack or Discord channel saying, hey, you have a new lead that's interested in ABC, and including their phone number so that you know exactly who to call. And they would have already have an email from you so that they know that they expect a call from you. And all of that could just be automated through a couple of quick web forms and using a tool like Zapier. Now, if you do that, think about how much time, one, you're going to free for yourself to actually help the people that need helping, and two, how much more consistent your responses are going to be. It's not going to change a little bit every time you answer. It's always going to be pretty much exactly the same, depending on how you trained the system and what responses it's giving. Now, we've talked about this in the past, but it's definitely worth talking about again. You want to be very careful, especially when you start automating anything with AI. AI sometimes has a tendency to be a little bit free and loose with its responses. I've seen it do a resume for somebody, and then in the education part of the resume, say the person had an MBA, even though the person didn't have an MBA. I listed a school, said they had an MBA, the whole 9 yards. There was a lawyer who quoted case law in a court case in court in defense of a position Only it turned out that that case was not a real case. And so he got in trouble with the bar because he was not using real case in a real case. So you have to be careful with just blindly trusting the responses that you get. The more specific, the more likely it is going to be to exaggerate a little bit. The focus really wants to be our focus really for right now until these things get a little bit smarter needs to be on how do we add value for our subscribers. Answering some basic questions, especially if we can train the model to answer those questions, is hugely beneficial, but trying to get it to do really complex things right now, we're probably not quite ready for that. Blindly trusting, blindly copying and pasting an email response that you had a large language model generate without proofreading it, highly ill-advised. There's almost nothing that I can just send as is. Almost everything needs to be edited or fleshed out, but it saves literally hours of time using some of these tools. We've talked about some of the tools. Here's another list of them. Some of the tools that you can use to get started. At the very highest level, as we've been talking about, ChatGPT, Bard, Claude, there's a handful of others. Most of them are free or very low cost to get started. So if you haven't started yet, I highly recommend you at least start there. It costs nothing. The impact will be hugely beneficial, I believe. It has been to almost everybody I've introduced this to. But beyond that, there are tools out there like Jasper, like copy.ai, like Grammarly. Grammarly's starting to introduce AI into it. We use Tango, which is like you can take screenshots and develop like how-tos with it. They're putting AI into their stuff. We talked about HubSpot. HubSpot is putting AI into their, or has already put AI into their CRM. Email marketing platforms, MailChimp, Constant Contact, all those guys, they have, or they will be introducing AI into their systems. The smarter they can make their systems, the better their systems are at contacting the right customers at the right time, or at least recommending the right contacts at the right time. Obviously, the better they are at securing future contracts from people. They are definitely interested in leveraging AI in their services. We are going to see this stuff everywhere. Gmail has already started. They've already started taking steps. Gmail you can create lists and things of that nature right within Gmail, which was not possible as of relatively recently. I think maybe 2 weeks ago, they just started rolling that out. So even our traditional providers are going to start rolling it out. If you haven't noticed already, it's going to be in our web browsers. It's built into Bing now. So for those that, if anybody remembers Internet Explorer Bing, I think the last I saw it was like 2% of the web browser market, but they've already got AI built right into their web browser. Google is scrambling to get it into their web browsers and has already started. So again, this is going to be everywhere. It's already starting to be everywhere. And that's kind of the end of the tools part. This is winding down week 4 of our 4-week AI educational series. It's been a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody that's taking the time to join us. Our next series, starting, is that date right? Yep. Next Friday is going to be building your brand through social media with our social media manager, Evelyn Garcia. So she's going to kick that off next Friday at 10 o'clock. That will be another 4-week series. So we're going to talk about how social media can be used, the different social media platforms, and we're going to be sprinkling a little, Chat GPT and AI in there. How can you use AI to help you generate some of your social media content? So that's coming up next. Once we're done with that 4-week series, we've got a couple more 4-week series on the horizon. So we've still got another couple months worth of stuff for you folks out there. Right after social media, we're going to talk about recruiting with our recruiting manager, Ariana Garcia. No relation to Evelyn Garcia. And then our 4th and final 4-week series in this series of series is going to be communication connections. And that's with Destiny Selvey, our sales director. and her sales team. We're super excited for all of those upcoming courses, and of course, hope that you folks will join us. For those of you that miss them, they will be on our YouTube channel, however. Excuse me. For those that were with us last week, we just did the training for our newest partnership with Care Guide Advocates. Our primary business, for those that are not familiar, is helping people with their finances, understanding debt, getting out of debt, changing debt to wealth. You know, we're on a mission of changing people's perspectives and understanding of finances. And the latest partnership we brought on is with Care Guide Advocates. They specialize in helping people understand and get out of medical debt. They do that through a number of different ways, like helping them understanding how their bills are coded, things of that nature. Over 100 million people are qualified for free or reduced medical care at over 5,000 different facilities and have no idea. So they have a bunch of different ways to help people reduce or eliminate their medical debt. So we're super excited. Did the training on that last week. We're going to start taking appointments next week. So if you folks have medical debt, if you folks know anybody that has medical debt that they'd like some help with, it's certainly worth a few minute conversation to see if there's something we can do for you. And we'd love to see if we can help you. And then moving forward with the launch of some of these new programs, we're working on some new client enrollment agreements, agent enrollment agreements. We're cleaning up the way we communicate how agents earn commissions from our programs. So we've got a lot of that stuff coming out here shortly. Bless you, bless you. We're working on some community-based stuff. We launched a Discord channel internally that we've been working on for the last month or so. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, we plan on starting to bring some agents into that community. In the future, give us a more direct connection to our agents. We're hoping to have like our vendors, our agents, our agencies and whatnot in there. We'd love to get feedback from you folks. We'd love to help your clients, and we'd love to be able to do it through more than just taking phone calls and emails. So look for that in the near future. Aside from that, do we have any questions on anything we talked about today from anybody? Going once, going twice. Okay, awesome. Well, as I said in the beginning, folks, we as a team really appreciate those of you that took your time to join us today on this Friday morning. We hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. We will get this emailed out to everybody once the video is done downloading and processing, sometime usually today or Monday. It will also be on our YouTube channel. And if we don't hear from you before then, we'd love to see you next Friday when we kick off our social media series with Evelyn Garcia. Other than that, thank you very much, folks. Enjoy your weekend, and we will see you in the next one.